Dímelo mi mundo, and welcome back to Boss It Up Media. Another episode with my beautiful co-host Donna Acevedo and Lisa Garcia with a special guest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ralph. We are so excited to be here. We are back at the Saucy Pizza Bar. I know that you guys saw this place on a prior episode, but we had to bring it back here because we have a couple of special guests here today. So we're really excited. Lisa, I mean, just say hello. You know, we're going to introduce everybody, but we want to just get the ball rolling and get everything started.
Hey, everyone. Great to see you again. And I'm so excited to have our Ari here because I love her so much. And she does amazing things for the community. And I'm going to let Dawn introduce her.
So today's guest is a leader amongst leaders. She's a philanthropist. She's a community steward serving the Elmhurst, Corona, Jackson Heights area. This young lady, believe it or not, has been serving in the public sector for over a decade. I know she looks young, but she has been around for a decade in the public sector. She's a daughter of Dominican immigrants and former Assemblywoman of the 39th District. Welcome, Ari Espinal. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here at Saucy Pizza Bar. I just want to say thank you. I always wanted a podcast, and I'm just going to probably take ownership of this one.
We expect nothing less.
No, nothing less. I'm just so grateful to be here and talk to great leaders like you, Dawn, and Lisa, who is an amazing woman, and I call her AKA Mom. We can't forget who's behind the bar. It's Francisco Moya.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
This is an honor and a privilege.
It is.
We know, as Francisco has become such a great friend of ours, not just a great councilman, but a great friend, that he loves his gin and tonic, right? And we have heard that you make the most amazing gin and tonic.
I've been waiting 2 years for this gin and tonic, so I can't wait.
I grew up in gin and tonics.
Okay.
There you go.
Only because my dear friend Lisa and Ari Espinal are here that I was able to get a pass to come over here and guest bartend while you guys do your podcast and introduce you to, Moya's favorite gin and tonic and serve you guys, and hopefully you'll enjoy it.
This is such an honor. I feel so special, guys.
Let's get saucy.
Yeah.
How saucy are we going to get? How saucy are we going to get?
Can't wait.
Just a big thank you to Justin again of the Saucy Pizza Bar for allowing Mr. Moya behind the bar to destroy his glasses.
We had a few.
The best way to start it off.
We had a few.
Best way to start it off.
Opa.
I'm sorry, but for some reason, every time Francisco's on here, we end up having a really big laugh attack.
Oh my gosh, always.
It's not
Mommy,
I know. She won't mind.
So let's get into it.
Yes. So we want to know, how did you get into the public sector?
Bartending.
Bartending?
Bartending with the men and women.
Oh my God.
Bartending with the men who's behind the bar. No, it's so funny though. I started because he was my basketball coach.
Wow.
I always say my basketball career didn't go far. He was probably a horrible coach, but a great mentor in politics. He mentored me all the way through now, I always say a student is always as great as their teacher.
Yes.
And I don't want to get him sentimental because we want our drinks, right? Because he cries every time I get on a mic.
That's true.
We also go shopping together at the Baby Gap.
Oh man.
No, but all jokes aside, I started because I actually saw Francisco doing what he always does, is serving his community. I've known him since I was probably the same height as today, and he was the same height as he is right now. But he, please do. But he really guided a way for a young woman, which is very rare in politics.
So true.
Or in any industry. And he saw something probably that I didn't see in myself and mentored me all the way into where I am today. I can't give him all the credit. But I owe a lot of things that I know is from seeing him bartending. Just serving the community at a young age and getting involved since the age of 13, and just knowing the ins and out of politics and how it's really done, and serving and bringing back resources to a community where we all lived, right? Like, I still live in the same neighborhood that I was born and raised in, Corona. I see the ups and downs of it, but it's also of how we create that narrative of how we could actually do better by where we grew up. And that's a lot of like the people that you surround yourself with. And I had a good mentor in Francisco, and since then I just gone all the way up. Not in height though.
Where did you start? What was your first like entry level position?
I wasn't even out of college when I started.
Wow.
Yeah. He ran for office for the Assembly in 2010, and I was in my senior year of college, and I was interning actually in the city council, funny, with his brother, who's my favorite Moya.
Yeah.
The best, actually. I got away with everything. But the whole family knew each other because we're all from the same community. So after I was doing my thesis on the coup of 2009, and we don't have to go into the politics or the wits of that because I don't want to bore anybody. I'm still cool. But I was doing my thesis on it, and just so happened that he was running for office, and I dropped internship. I actually told my dean that I was helping this assembly member who was running for office, and just wrote my whole thesis while he was running for office.
Wow.
And as I was writing it, and he won, and it was a big victory. In 2010, the first Ecuadorian elect in the country. You know, it was a big deal, and especially for our community, where like people like us, like we have to fight hard. And what I mean by us is Latinos, right? Like, you don't see much of us, especially like a young woman in politics either.
Absolutely.
But he embraced that, and I took the chance. And you know, as I was finishing school, I worked in the office as he was up and down in Albany, and we took care of stuff in the district. That was the first step, and from there it just opened doors, and I became a district leader. To this day, I'm a district leader. And then, you know, he moved on to another seat, and there was an opportunity where then I ran for office in 2018, and during a special election, I became an Assemblywoman. So that was fun. Passed a few laws. And
But what I love about you is that not only are you an Assemblywoman, and you know you're an Assemblywoman, and you're this leader, and this young leader,
Yeah.
female young Latina leader at that. But I've been to events where you have been at, and it's insane how everyone just comes to you, says hi to you. Like, you don't even go up to people. Like, people love you, you know, in the
that's
industry.
nice.
And I love to see that. No, but it's a beautiful thing as a Latina to see someone so young in politics, you know, get so much recognition and respect for what you do for your community and the public sector.
well, thank you. I owe it all to who been around me. My mom always said, I'll say it in Spanish. I'm gonna fuck it up. Sorry. Dime quién tú eres y dime con quién tú jangueas y te diré quién tú eres, right? Yeah. So like, surround your people with the people that are just gonna lift you up, not they're gonna drag you. Right. So
Very important.
Very important, right? So I take that. I don't always listen to my mom, I don't. But we don't. If I would have listened to my mom, I would probably be a millionaire by now. But you know, it's just it's also focus and what you want to do with your life, and also like, he was really hard on me, and by being the guy behind the bar, he like I to this day I probably like. Everyone tells me about all these accomplishments, but I'm like, oh, I got to do better because it's not enough. But it's also that push and that drive that gets you from the people that are just gonna like mentor you to do that. Like, I still have so much to do, and I don't know where it's gonna stop, you know. But like, I also have to realize that there's so much more to do, and in order to like see the reality of like what his legacy is and what he's gonna like, how he taught me to do better, and what I want to do for my family or for a nephew or maybe one day a kid that I have, not yet. But it's just seeing the growth of our community, right? Like we could do it too. Like I don't think we talk about it enough of saying like, you know, we could be in the same space as other people, and by other people is like there's always going to be 3 men in the room, and by 3 men it could be Latino men too, and like there's no Latinas, right? So it's about talking about like who embraces that, who embraces you going into the room because we matter too, and I think that's a big conversation, not only in our community or in our district or whoever we represent, but it's also like the whole country.
Right.
So it's actually just like where do we start from there, and it's a passion, like. It's a passion that I come to realize that I'm really good at.
And I was actually going to say that you speak with so much passion, and I love it.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
a beautiful
you.
thing.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
was gonna say, is that the reason, the passion that you have, is that why you love being in the public sector and, you know?
No, I actually, no, like, it looks like I'm like an extrovert, right? But like, I'm really like an introvert. Like, I really like to, like, be by myself sometimes, right? Or just be alone, right? But it comes out in where I'm confident, right? It comes out where in a space where I know that I can get shit done. So why not? So the confidence comes from that, and it's like it just comes from like, let's just do the work, let's hustle, because that's what we're taught. We're taught at early age. We weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouth, right? So we're taught at an early age to hustle. So like, what better way to hustle and in order to make where we live better?
I love that. I love that. And I think once you're involved and you start seeing the change that you're capable of making,
It's an addiction.
it's an addiction.
Right, but it's a good addiction.
Good addiction.
Yeah,
Good
it's a
addiction.
great, it's an addiction, right? So it's like, oh, okay, so like, what's next? I could do that?
Yeah.
Let's go, right?
go.
So like, let me be in that room. Why not?
You know what's crazy is I was asked to speak on a panel, right? And then the guy said, do you have anyone else? Like it's for entrepreneurs. And I said, yes, I have this other woman that, you know, she could, you know, speak as well. And he goes, wow, I've never had so many women on a panel for entrepreneurship. I was like, wow.
Even
was
that
crazy.
thought that it's just like, wow, we don't have enough
Yeah.
women. It's like, no, we should not be considered like enough women. We should be like, oh, we have enough people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like I think that should be the conversation,
Right.
the conversation at the table. Like we could be in those rooms. We could like handle budgets. We can handle anything that a man can do, and even probably better.
But we are now
right?
in those rooms.
Yeah, in
right?
those rooms.
We are
We got
now
to
in
push
those rooms,
ourselves
yes.
in those rooms. Like we should have a voice in everywhere we go.
And you're breaking walls, so that's great.
Well, knock on wood. Like, knock on
It's
wood.
like Mr. Councilman here is breaking
Yeah.
ice,
Yes.
but let's
Yeah.
take a break while he finishes the final touches. Let's take a
Yeah.
break, and when we come back, we are going to enjoy this amazing treat.
La que más suena en todos los bloques. Latino Mix. Latino Mix. Latino Mix. Pa' que no te equivoques.
Welcome back to Boss It Up Media. We are so excited. We have just been made these beautiful gin tonics drink by Councilman Francisco Moya himself. I mean, I cannot express. Look at how beautiful this is. I mean, you did all of this. You even made the rose with the lemon. This is gorgeous.
Well, you know, this is my specialty drink. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I love it. I learned all about this on my travels to Spain, which just really has made me open my eyes to so many different things. You know, gin and tonic is probably one of the worst drinks you could probably have when you come here to a bar. It's like terrible. I went to Spain. I kept seeing gin tonics everywhere. I'm like, talk to a friend. I'm like, what is this, to appease the British tourists or whatever? And he's like, no, this is like it's our national drink. I was like, get out of here. I'm like, you got wine, you got cava, you got vermouth, you got everything. I'm like, gin? He said, gin? He goes, I'm going to take you to a gin bar. He took me to a gin bar, changed my life.
Wow.
I have not had any other drink aside from a gin and tonic in years. I learned how to make it over there. It's something very personal because, you know, I can't make any other cocktail whatsoever. I'll screw up a rum and coke for you if you ask me to do it. but this is what I love to do for friends, for family, and more importantly, but for myself.
Oh, well, we thank you so much.
Exactly.
I'm ready 2 years to try this. So I'm very, very
here we go.
excited.
Well, here's the big moment.
Yes.
Hope you like
Cheers.
it.
Cheers to you. Thank you so much for sharing your talents with us.
Salud, Ralph. There you go.
If I could reach.
Cheers.
I got short arms.
Let's try. It smells delicious.
Oh my God, the aroma as you're taking a sip of this is like different.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I
So this is
understand.
And I don't like
now I
gin.
understand.
I'll be completely honest. This
A lot of
is
people
not.
like gin.
Oh
But you
my-
taste it,
wow.
it's much different, right?
Yeah, it does
And-
not taste like
and,
a normal gin.
A lot of it is the type of gin, the garnishes that you have in it that like bring out the rest of the flavors of the gin, but it's also the glass size.
The glass
Ice,
Very
the
important.
ratio between the
So more like
tonic.
this
yeah.
one. This is kind
Yeah.
of like the glass size that you
Very
need.
refreshing.
And the tonic water versus, seltzer water.
So we're gonna
Makes a
call. So we
difference.
call you Gin Moya.
Gin
Gin
Moya.
Moya.
Gin Moya.
For a minute, I thought that said Gin Moya really quick.
Listen, one day. One day I'll have my own distillery.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh my
Cheers
goodness.
again.
Cheers. Salud.
Yes, we are cheersing. We're going to use that word again.
We're
then I think that
drinking.
We are
Cheersing, cheersing.
We're
cheersing.
getting saucy as saucy.
Saucy
good.
at the Saucy Pizza Bar.
Pizza Bar. Love it.
Don't forget to come down and visit the Saucy Pizza Bar, 3621 Review Avenue in Long Island City. They are phenomenal here. I cannot promise that you are going to get Councilman Francisco Moya behind the bar, but you will get someone spectacular. So thank you for sharing this time with us. This is
Yeah.
this is
No,
amazing
thank you for
for
having
you to
me.
make this.
Thank you.
Okay, back to the star of our show, Ari.
Oh wow.
Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared thus far. I have a question for you because you kind of touched upon being a Latina, being young. I mean, you had a lot of, I think a lot of things that you had to work through. What would you say would have been your biggest high, low coming in as a young Latina into the public sector?
Not seeing a lot of people like me in the rooms, right? That's one. I have to say I am pretty lucky. I was pretty lucky because I had how they say it, like again, like un padrino, right? You always need a godfather in anywhere you go, right? But I got pretty lucky in the way that I had Francisco, who opened a lot of doors for me, but that's all he did, open them. I had to be in that room, right?
So curious minds want to know. Let's say you went into a meeting when you first started out, right?
Yeah.
And you
It was
went into
hard.
a meeting and you were, I'm sure, a little nervous, apprehensive, not sure 100%. Was he like your, I'm going to call a friend emergency?
No,
Like,
he never did that.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and because I'm pretty sure he didn't I think it's we don't see a lot of ourselves in the spaces. Now you do see more. Now you see the first a Dominican in office, the first Puerto Rican. There's always the first of something years back, right? But there hasn't been enough of us in a room, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't call anyone. He taught me how to be in that room.
Did you call him for advice through the
all the time. I still to this day I don't work for him anymore.
Whoa.
But I never stopped working for him, right? Because you always have to this politics is a roller coaster. That's something he taught me, right? Because it's always an ups and down, right? Ups and down. There's a moment where you get a lot of things done in New York, right? In New York City, but there's down moments where failure, but what you have to do is just get up again. You have to always get up, and in any job. That's not only in politics. That's also in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. Or in even in the law degree or in the medicine field. There's always moments where there's lows. You just have to capture the moments where there are highs and just live by those. Not every career is meant for everybody. Mm-hmm. You just have to understand that what you want to do, you want to wake up every day and say, this is what I want to do, because that's how you perfect your day, and the other day and the next day is just knowing that that's what you want to do for the rest of your life.
And what was that moment?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
For me, that moment, there's a couple moments, right? Seeing specific bills that we've worked for many years, especially when he was in the assembly, and then I became the assembly member. You had the DREAM Act, right? Like, no one talked about immigration until like people like himself and his other colleagues who, like Marcos Crespo, who was in the show, right? Like, or like a Carmen de la Rosa, or like he was the main author of the DREAM Act in New York State. Like, the opportunity for dreamers, for students that have been in this country for a really long time. Then we serve you from K through 12, but then once you go to college, like, we're not gonna help you anymore just because of an immigration status. And I think, him fighting for that for 7 years, I think it was 7 years, and seeing it pass through, that was amazing. That makes you say, like, wow, those like nights and like sleepless nights and working hard, you see yourself in them, right? You see yourself in the education system. You see yourself in like construction workers, like Carlos's law, a bill he also authored and I passed in the assembly, like to give opportunity to the exploitation of workers out there and give them the right to actually say, no, you can't do this to me, to see that through. Like, that's something good. Right,
you had a seat front and center.
Yeah, you had a seat front and center, and like to actually see that, and like that's high. That's its own high. Like, oh wow, like we actually got this. Like, 2 kids from Corona could actually do this.
I love that.
Like, and that doesn't give enough credit. Like, we only give enough credit to like I always say like the sexy stuff in out there. Like, people are only reading the topics and what you see in like social media. I'm not saying that that's bad. Like, I love the fact that there's social media and there's like these clips and everyone is getting involved in politics, because that's what we fight for. But there's a moment where you're like, wait a minute, are you doing this for the cause, or are you just doing it because it's sexy now, right? So we have to always maintain it sexy enough in order for us to actually fight for our rights, because there are rights, and there's a lot of things that we've done, but we have to still continue.
Right. Absolutely.
I've met you already a few times.
Couple times.
Was
I drinking?
Only a little bit.
Yeah.
But hearing you speak now about your path and your walk through the public sector, like, it's just so, it's so inspiring. And I know that the same way Francisco was a mentor to you, I know that you're probably mentoring so many up and coming, young Latinas that are looking up to you.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Working in the community, have you heard a young lady, a woman say, you inspired me to be in this sector?
Yeah, there's a few out there that are in Corona, and young men too, who are in the district, who didn't know that they could get involved. I did start young, right? So there's a group of generation that is different from another generation. So like, when you saw me,
bartender,
your call.
I'll be right back.
when you saw me wearing sneakers, or like going into like press conference with sneakers, and then I became a sneakerhead. That became cool to certain kids, and saying like, who is this? How is she up there and wearing sneakers, or like wearing this like cool sweater? Like, they saw that in me, and they said we could also do that. So there's a couple of kids that till this day, like, one of them is in law school now. Like, she worked under me, and she is from Corona, and very proud of her. And she wants to be an immigration lawyer.
That's great. That's great.
So awesome.
I think she's very modest, and I'm just stepping in here because...
And I'm happy you're here for that.
Yeah. I just, look, I love Ari, and I get very emotional when it comes to her. Ari's like my little sister, but she truly is someone who has the ability to just make people feel good about themselves. There's a real connection with folks, and I think just not just in politics, but just in life in general, when you meet people and you have the ability to send this positive energy to someone, you want to be around them, right? And I think what Ari has done is built her own career. I know she's giving me a lot of credit, but you can teach people just so much.
Yep.
It's what they do with that.
Yes.
And she's been able to build her own path to her own career and be very successful in that. as a Latina, as someone who got into politics when it was not easy. You know, she gives me a lot of credit for passing these bills and doing all. That's a team effort. It's not just me. It's the hard work that goes into her having to get the group of organizers to come and support the issue, to knock on doors and really connect with voters, to connect with people of all walks of life. You don't understand how, like, even to this day, she hasn't worked for me in like 6 years or so, and they still ask for her. She even adopted somebody that, you know, the story of this young gentleman is pretty incredible. And his name is Clay. We
Guardianship.
Guardianship, but still.
Guardian.
We worked in an office in Jackson Heights. It was in the Assembly. It was just me, Ari, and Megan. Had, like, you know, barely any money to pay staff. So it was the three of us working. And we were in this building. And the owner of the building had some woman that was kind of the manager of the building. And the son was, he had special needs. He was an older gentleman.
He had a mental disability that it was never diagnosed at the age that it was supposed to. I don't know why, but a month before his mom passed, she had cancer.
Well, before you get to that, I just want to tell you how this happened. Because he would come and he'd sit in our office all day long. Ari would buy him donuts, she would buy him lunch, she would do all these things to take care of him. And, you know, he would come and he was part of the office, whatever. But you never knew the in-depth, what happens after 5 o'clock. You know, what happens before you come into work, right? That she was making sure that he got home, had dinner, took care of all of his, you know, he needed to get on certain social services, you know, that he needed to get on. His mother passed away, and he had nobody. And he lost his mom. That was his only.
So that was
like,
it.
That was it.
It was him and his mom. He didn't have family.
And he didn't know what to do. He had no idea.
And how old was he?
He's right now 55.
Wow.
So he's literally twice my age, but he's I call him a kid. He's a kid with disability. Doesn't know the difference. He knows to get from point A from point B. So our office became a safe haven for him.
Wow.
After his mom passed, and so his mom didn't know how to get like any services for him. So he was never diagnosed, and the system was like really harsh on him. So like if he couldn't speak up, so you know like our offices served services, right? Constituent services. So I took it upon myself and said, I'm gonna do this. I have to, because in order to get him the services that he needed, someone had to be there for him. It took years. It took years for
But he's
for
like
him.
part of the family.
He's part of the family. Yeah, he's part of the family.
And if
Clay,
it wasn't
what's
for
up?
Ari, he would not be in housing right now. He would
No.
not be getting the services that he needs. You know, he sends her text messages
On your birthday?
on my birthday.
On your birthday, he
you know.
remembers.
It's an example of, you know, she's not doing this because it's going to get her votes. She's
No.
doing this because she's a good human being.
Exactly.
And she knows that, like, the importance of how you help people in need, how you build your community up, you know, and it shows in her everyday life. You know, that's what I love about her, and that's what I'm saying. She's being very, very modest today, but I just needed people to know
thank
the
you.
Appreciate that,
the
It's the
depth of where
drinks
it
in
goes.
him. It's the drinks in
You
him
know,
talking
it's-
about.
No, I need a lot more to start like
It's
saying
one
things
thing
about you.
when people say, I want to help my community, I want to make a change, I want to make a difference. But when you put action behind that, you know, for you to step up and do something like that, like if nobody else has ever told you in this world, like I'm almost in tears right now because it's not the average person that will step in and help someone like that, and we need more of that.
See, I heard that a lot. I just probably because thank God for like my mom and my parents and like my family, but like that I thought that was like what we do. Right, you help those in need, and I always think about like paying it forward. Like I always think it's like I won't need it right now, right? But like God forbid somebody that I love and care about is in that situation. Like maybe I did it, they would do it for them, right? So I always think about that. I was like, you know, you don't do those services because you want something in return for yourself. You never. I don't think that, right? I always think about like this is what you're supposed to do. This is how I grew up. This is how I want to maintain. I want to maintain that because it humbles you too. Like, you can get lost in this world. Yes, easily.
We won't get lost if we have more of you.
Exactly.
But on that note, we have to take a break right now. I'm really emotional because that's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, Francisco, because more people need to hear things like that. But we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
La que más suena en todos los bloques. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Latino Mixx. Pa' que no te equivoques.
Welcome back to Boss It Up Media. We are here at the Saucy Pizza Bar. We cannot just stress enough, guys. If you've never been here, please come out and visit. Make a reservation. You will not regret it. The food is amazing. The service is amazing. And just the vibe, the atmosphere is phenomenal. So definitely come out, check them out. The Saucy Pizza Bar, 3621 Review Avenue, Long Island City, New York. We also want to just make a special thanks to Latino Mixx for always coming out, bringing us out on site. It's not easy to set up such a professional production, but they do it
Thank you, Latino
seamlessly.
Mixx.
So shout out to Latino Mixx and the whole team.
Shout
that
out,
make this
shout out.
possible.
Shout out.
Seriously.
And also, if you guys want your own podcast, reach out to us. We'll hook you up. They do an amazing job. So let us know, and we'll put you on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, Ari. Look at that. Look at you working.
See? This is networking, Lisa.
Exactly.
I heard you're very good at it.
So good. So good. I don't have time to think. So
The
good.
queen of networking.
Exactly.
So, my love, I have a question for you. Okay, so I know that you have a long career ahead of you because you're so young. But I want to know what's next for you and the legacy you're trying to leave.
Wow, you gotta say it in front of this man.
Thank you for asking that question. I'm very
Man.
curious to hear this. Yeah.
So sad.
I've never seen you speechless.
Yeah, because
I've never seen you
I try to avoid those questions because I don't know. You can never say never. You know, I don't know what's next. I love what I do now. I love the policy part of this work. Or this job, right? I love lobbying. I love lobbying for what I love to do, which is like worker rights and protecting a bunch of people who just don't have a voice. I love that part of that job, right? And like the freedom of like getting to like do this, right? And being vocal. What's next? I mean, what's next for everybody, right? Like, I can't predict what comes tomorrow.
I mean, for me, it's retirement, but
no, it's not retirement. Check your DMs, I heard. There's like a network event tomorrow. Okay, you could be my +1.
I just found Spud's co-host. Literally.
What's next is doing my podcast with Latino Mixx.
There we go.
Talking about politics and drinking all day. But, I can't predict what's next. I want to... Someone asked me at the beginning of this year, what's your New Year's resolution, right? I never had a New Year's resolution. I was like, what the hell?
Right? What's the next change you want?
Yeah,
you want to create in this world? What's the next change?
But the answer to that, to like, what's your New Year's resolution is like, I want to be better. Like, just be better. Better than I was like last year, better than I was yesterday. Like, I want to be better.
I like that.
Yeah, I want to be better. It doesn't mean or doesn't say that I wasn't good enough yesterday, but it got me here. I want to be better than that, and like that. That's what it is.
Little encouragement from this old lady.
For
what it's worth.
Dime.
And I've said this to Francisco before too. Without getting into the politics of this world right now, he has given me hope into future politicians, that there are good people with good hearts that still want to make a difference.
Yeah.
You, my darling, give me the same hope. So whether you see your path down the line holding office again or somewhere down that line, we need more of you.
We could create more of me.
But we could also have you in the front line.
Listen. Listen, was the Francisco give you guys talking points? This is the thing.
I love because the way you said it was actually perfect.
It's 100% true. We need more of you, not just as a woman that represents strong, passionate women that can make a difference, but also as a Latina that can show, like, you know what, other upcoming women that want to walk your same path. You're a great example of someone who's passionate enough to make change in this world for the good, not self-motivated, for the good, for the community, for the people. It's rare. It's not, you don't see it very often anymore.
Very true.
I'm a rare breed.
And therefore, we would like to see you front and center.
We can help you campaign.
Listen.
Absolutely.
This,
saying, you know.
I'm going to drink to that.
We're still yet to have our first woman president. I'm just saying. Just saying.
It ain't going to be me. Never say never.
Never say never. Yep.
Never say never.
Never say
But
never.
that's all it is. I want to be better. I want to just do better. Do better is the goal for 2024.
Got it.
And that's a great answer.
Yeah, do better for 2024.
But answer the question. So what is it that you want? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You want to leave?
What's
just
the legacy?
kidding.
I want to finish legacies.
Okay.
It's a good response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good response.
You know what? Period.
Yeah.
Period.
You know what? We want to thank you, Ari, for coming on, sharing your heart with us.
Thank you. Thank you
Sharing-
for giving me the opportunity and space to talk about, me.
Especially, you know what? You know what's crazy is that I've hung out with Ari so much, but like, drinking and, none of this like deep conversation. But I've gotten to know you so much right now and totally impressed and so much respect to you and everything that you do that now my wheels are turning and I'm just like, we need to do this with her. We're going to do this workshop with her and we have to have her speak at this because I'm obsessed with you now.
You were
But
always
Can you,
obsessed.
but can you reply to my text messages?
I do reply.
I pick up the phone when I call. That's all I have.
I'm not the only one, Nancy. I don't feel bad.
My phone is always
She likes
dead.
to build up the anticipation.
Yeah.
Of course, that's how you keep them coming. Keep them coming like that. You keep them coming.
This was awesome. All right,
This is amazing.
We want to just make sure that everybody can follow. Please remember to follow us on Instagram at Boss It Up Media. Make sure to go to our YouTube channel so you can watch and replay this amazing episode along with the others. Like, subscribe, and comment at Boss It Up Media. You can also follow us on the Latino Mixx platform. You could go there and see our podcast hosted on that level as well. Also, you can follow me personally at Dawn the Closer. We love to receive messages. We want to hear what you guys want to see in future episodes, what you would like us to talk about, or even other venues. If you want your place highlighted and you want us to come out on location to you, reach out to us. We really want to hear from you. Ralph, please share your contact.
My
as
IG
well.
is Ralph Holmes NYC.
And I'm here, Lisa G in the city. Make sure you DM me.
But you might
Continue
have
that
to wait
networking.
for a
Continue that
reply.
networking.
I hear her DMs are pretty stacked right now, so you might have to wait a little for that
Promoting her
reply.
singleness,
My assistant will get back to you.
Francisco, Adi, thank you
Thank
again
you so
from the bottom
much.
of our
Having
hearts.
us.
Thank you for sharing a talent of
Thank you.
yours.
Thank you
This
for
was
having me.
delicious
This
and
was
amazing.
great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to
Bartender Moya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And bartender,
Yes.
shout out to
Salud.
a bartender.
And thank you everybody for watching. Please come back and join us again. Take care.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.